Oh my goodness, big time crash on the front straightaway. We've got a driver up and over. Someone's pounded the wall. Red flag in the air. This one lap in, is now going to go back to the start lights here. Danny Formal, I don't know if they'll let him get back in because he didn't complete. Oh, there he goes. He's going to pull on into the scale line.
So Danny is trying to plead his case right now to the SuperKarts USA officials on pit lane here right now.
So look at this. You've got nearly the entire RPG camp trying to see if they can't get Danny Formal fixed up. And Wick was pushing off. His cart at least didn't seem fully like in pieces.
Yeah, it's really
there's a look up in the sky. You can see there's Kyle Wick getting involved. Team owner Gary Carlton's over there trying to see what they can do. It looks like they're really working on the right side.
There's like no engine on that GFC right there. Or that Track Magic,
No way. Are they doing a motor?
That's a motor swap.
Oh, my goodness. A motor swap. What you got, Rob?
Yeah, you know what? We were talking about it, so I figured I'd go to the source. I went right to Bo Barfield, and he told me, you leave the racetrack, you are done. So a lot of work being done, but I don't think they're going to allow Kyle Wick to come back out. I don't think you're going to see Danny Formal back out on the racetrack either. That's exactly what Bo Barfield said.
Danny's letting Kyle Wick, all them know. Gary, Track Magic Camp, they're running by. They're going to get the bad news here in just a moment. It looks like that all that hard work, everything to get that cart ready to go.
GFC's about living your passion, and these guys put it all out. They just did an engine change in, 7 minutes, 8 minutes?
That's unreal.
So I actually ran into Danny after the race day was over. We were getting Smash Burger, and he came by and whatnot. And he was saying that, well, I mean, I was just kind of asking him about it and stuff like that. He thought it was a full restart because you guys had mentioned like that it might be a full restart. And, it was, what did you guys think, Jake, especially because you were in the race, about the decision it wasn't a full restart, and Danny and Kyle couldn't come back in because they had already left the racing surface. There's no rule in the rule book about designating like a full restart. It is only before halfway or after halfway. And I think there's kind of just been a general consensus that if you get a red flag at like the end of lap 1, start of lap 2, then you'll do a full restart. But there's nothing that I found explicitly in the rule book stating that if it's a full restart, you can reset your bumpers, you can go and fix your go-kart, you can do all that. There's no, I didn't see anything in there. But what were your thoughts on it? Because I was hoping to see them both get back.
Unfortunately, we've had red flags and shifted before, whether it's with Rock or SKUSA in Vegas. And I do remember one time, it was before the completion of the first lap, they actually called everybody back in to the scales, and you can do whatever you wanted to your go-kart. You were free to work on it. The guys that crashed, they could fix their go-karts. It was a complete restart. We regridded up where we were supposed to start, and we went on with the whole with the main from lap 0. We got told right when the red flag came out that it was a complete restart. That is the first thing we heard when we stopped. I think that quickly became word of the people. That's why we were able to go talk to our mechanics or change our visors or whatever it was. So because we were only allowed to sit on the barrier, couldn't touch the carts. They said it's a complete restart. We walked to our mechanics. Well, I'm sure somebody in that mechanic crowd told Danny and Wick saying, hey, it's a complete restart. That usually means you can work on your carts. The controversy is that all of us that were there on track couldn't. There was no way we could work on our carts. We couldn't get them back in. They wanted us to stay there. So it was a little weird ordeal, but not probably 5 minutes later, they said, y'all have completed 1 lap. It is not a complete restart. We're going to do a rolling start, and you're going to start where you were after that 1 completion of lap. So that meant, obviously, Danny and Wick could not come back on track.
Yeah. Did they actually line people up after the red flag? Because there was 2 or 3 guys that just, with no regard, just like went and passed a bunch of people, and I never saw anyone regrid anyone before
they lined us up. They pulled us up to where the finish line was and put us in order.
Okay.
They had a couple guys that failed to get running as they were getting going, so you probably saw the guys that didn't get fired up right away go back to where they were supposed to be gridded up and just didn't get running.
That goes on like the commitment line stuff, right? Like, I mean, we saw that in a bunch of races both ways where someone was laid off the grid, and so SKUSA's policy, and I think Rock has it too. Am I right about that, Jake? Does Rock have commitment cones and formation cones?
Yes.
I think they do. USPKS has them. I don't remember if it's penalized, but I know that I think it is, and I know that Stars does as well. That they have a commitment line and a formation line. So Commitment line comes before the formation line. Commitment line is usually about 3 to 4 turns before the formation line. Formation line is usually about 2 turns before the start. And so the commitment line, that's when you have to be as high up or as far back as you're supposed to be, whether or not that was where you were originally slated to start. So if you get a false start and it goes around, then you've got that first half of the lap to get back into the position you're supposed to be. However, if it's not a false start and you advance your position after the commitment line, even if it's to be where you're supposed to be, you get a penalty. So that happened to a lot of guys in a lot of races where they were sluggish off the grid, or they spun on the out lap, or in the case of what Aaron was saying, right, they were slow to bump start themselves. And everyone in Pro Shifter, no one's getting help. Everyone, it's pro class, so everyone was trying to bump start themselves. And I know Hannah Greenemar stuck out because she was the one that I think was the first one of the dominoes to fall in the middle of the grid that struggled to bump start herself and had to do it a second time and probably lost a bunch of spots that way. I did see them grid at least all you guys on the front. I think it was a little bit wishy-washy at the last 10 or so, but it looked like they had you guys just about in order for it. So yeah, it was, again, going back on the TV thing, it was great TV for us. We got the cameras on it. I mean, hell, man, credit all in the world. I have never seen an engine change on a KZ.
That was pretty impressive.
5 minutes.
I think they should have gotten in just off of that. I mean, you change an engine change in 10 minutes. Like, you deserved your way back onto the track. And Danny's
incredible.
a full
KZ for that matter. I mean, there's a lot. That goes
not even just like a KA with nothing attached to it. Just on and off. I can do a KA engine change in 10 minutes. I couldn't get a KZ done in an hour.
Yeah, that was unreal. So shout out to Gary Carlton, Sonny Cervelli, and the whole crew at the GFC camp. I mean, you guys are awesome, and I hate it for them, and again, like that was just a Hail Mary, right? Because like you said, heard complete restart, and I don't even know if they heard it or if it was over us because we didn't know, but it was crazy. So it was just wild to see that. So kudos to those guys. Unfortunate for the way it went. Once it goes obviously one lap down, nothing's going to happen. But